You're listening to the Rude Awakening Show podcast.
It's that time. All right, buckle up your seatbelts. Here he is again, Gerald Celente. I'm going to let this guy go. Good morning, Gerald.
Good morning, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, thank you for joining us. TrendsJournal, turn this thing around for us. What are we looking at today?
Everything's just hunky-dory. Vote for me, and you're going to have a great president for 2016. I mean, look at it. I mean, what, are you kidding? I mean, it's a joke what's going on out there. The imbeciles are in charge, and it's one disaster after another.
But wait a second. Tomorrow night, we're all going to be watching the State of the Union. Everything's going to be great, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have to tell you, I've been doing this since 1980. This is my 35th year. And I've never seen a Congress and a president as incompetent as the ones that are in charge now. Well, I guess I have, actually. But, and I think most of the people know it. For example, there was an election in Russia, let's say. That was just a couple of months ago. And 74% of the people stayed home. That would be headline news. That's what happened in America. 74% of the people stayed home in the midterm elections. That's how bad it is. So what we're looking at is the economy has not rebounded. We said this from the beginning. It was only a cover-up. They covered it up with cheap dough. And it's very simple. The only reason the equity markets are up is because the cheap money allows companies to buy back their stock. They're borrowing the money at almost nothing. I got a deal for you guys. Here we go. I'm going to loan you all the money you want at 0.25% interest. You're one of the too big to fail banks. You're one of my buddies. Okay. After you get the dough, you can loan it out for anything that you can get for it. You even charge the suckers 700% plus on payday loans. It's okay. The other reason why the markets went up is mergers and acquisition activity. They're borrowing the money for nothing. So they're doing all these deals. And then you look at the real numbers. I'm not making them up. Median household incomes below 1999 levels. So now you have what they're calling deflation, not only here but around the world. It's not deflation. The reason prices are going down, in the old days they used to call it depression. You don't have the dough to buy the stuff. Here's a number that people say, this guy's full of baloney. 85 cats on the planet have more money than half the world's population, 3.5 billion. And anybody could Google it up. That's a fact. So what you're looking at is that we don't have a Congress that represents us. They represent the special interests, and they're giving them special breaks to make them even richer. So the president's going to come out and he's going to play his for the folks. Let's have a bet how many times he says folks tomorrow.
Okay, well, hold on. You got Big Al here. What's the over/under? He'll take it. Folks, what do you want to go on that one?
Go with 9.
Not 9 folks.
Yeah.
9 folks. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
Did you say folk? You? I think it's a university. Folk you.
Of the 85 cats that got all the money, how many of them are Waltons?
They're a big part of it. But it's not only the Waltons, it's all of them. It's around the world. And this has never happened before. Look, here's a fact. This country's gone from a middle class to a dollar store. When I was growing up, there was no such thing as a dollar store. Used to go into nice places, mom and pop places. So it's a giveaway. And now there's the war talk. When all else fails, they take you to war. Hey, you guys got any ISIS running around down there? Watch yourself. This has gone from, you figure it out. It's been the World War II generation, the baby boom generation, and now you have the war on terror generation.
But we're winning. But Gerald, we're winning that war. I keep hearing Obama say we're winning that war. So what's the big deal?
Yeah, Obama. I was looking at some old notes last night, and Condoleezza Rice, the Secretary of State, when they launched the Iraq War,
right.
Words to the effect, "I'm proud of what we did."
Okay.
This is like in 2006. I'm proud of what we did. Oh, you're proud for taking us to a war based on lies? The guy never had weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. Oh, you're proud of that, huh? You know, all this news, by the way, about what happened in France, all of this news. How many people did the French kill in Libya? Sarkozy started that war. How many did the Americans kill in Iraq? Over 1 million, the number is.
Wait, hold on. You still can't justify what these guys
I'm not
did.
justifying anything. I'm not justifying. I'm talking about the hypocrisy.
Okay.
I'm talking about the hypocrisy.
Well, we've discussed that here, too.
Yeah. The hypocrisy is, you know, as we used to say in the Bronx, payback's a bitch. So if you're going to go in other countries and kill people, guess what? You're going to get people that hate you, too. So don't get too tight about it. Mm-hmm. So what I'm saying is they're taking us to war. And if anybody listening out there wants to get in a good business, they could do it very cheaply, and you could even be stupid about it. Get in the propaganda business. Boy, it sells big, and it could be as bad as you could make it.
And I think our media is so damn responsible for a lot of these problems that are going on. It's not even funny.
They are totally responsible.
The media is really destroying us from the inside out.
You got it, man. They really, really are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, you know, we're all hearing one story. So if you hear one story, you have one opinion. And that's the end of the story. So going back to the economy now, what's going on with oil prices? People say, oh, you know, they're trying to get even with Putin, blah, 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 blah. Now, we've been following this from the beginning. It's called supply and demand. Okay. And right now, you're looking at not only too much supply and not enough demand in oil, you have it in copper. You have it in iron ore. You have it in nickel. You could buy a ton of iron ore, rebar, reinforcement rod in China, cheaper than you could buy a ton of cabbage. You're looking over in China now. Their Shanghai index was down over almost 8% last night. You know why? Because the property bubble has burst. So if China's not buying this stuff, China buys this at 40% of the copper produced each year. You're going to see a slowdown because all these natural resource-rich countries have nobody to sell their stuff to. So this is big. And in 2015 may be the year the equity markets collapse.
Well, recently we're shutting down oil production across the world, but we're still scheduled to produce more oil than we ever have. Where is it going to, and why is it dropping? I mean, I'm just confused on why has it gotten so cheap, and where is it going to? Who's sitting on all the oil? Someone's got to have it.
Well, no, again, what China's doing, for example, they're buying oil in storage. But they can't get rid of all this stuff. Iran has tankers full of oil out there. So it's just like, let's say you're selling tomatoes, and you get $2 a pound. And all of a sudden you got more tomatoes than you can use, and you can't get rid of them, and you need the dough. You'll sell them for anything. And that's what I'm saying. It's not only oil. It's almost all of the commodities, because the global slowdown. And there's no way of getting out of it, because the only way they try to get out of it is by pumping more money into the system to enrich the rich. And that's all it's done. It's only made the fat cats fatter.
Well, isn't China stockpiling everything from garbage to old compute, anything they can recycle? I see barges hauling ass out of here with what we think is junk, and they're taking it by the shipload.
Yes, they are. But I got to tell you, you know what China's greatest fear is? It's not the Japanese, not the Americans moving in with Asia.
I think it's themselves is what it is.
You got it, man. They got 1.2 billion people. Yeah. And they used to report how many disturbances there were each year. The last time the number came out was in 2012, and it was like 38,000. 38,000 major disturbances.
Okay. And what is it now?
Well, they're not reporting it anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so what I'm saying is they got to keep their people in check. And by the way, they have I don't know how you say quantitative easing in China, but they're trying it too. And I'm telling you, just look, if we woke up this morning and the stock market was down 8%, there'd be panic on the street.
Okay.
The market is down 8%, the Shanghai index, as we're speaking. There's panic there.
Okay.
This whole global economy is collapsing. Later this week in Europe, Draghi. Again, when you look at the whole team, Mario Draghi's the head of the European Central Bank. They're going to have their version of quantitative easing. They have negative interest rates. That means when you put money in the bank, if over a certain amount, you have to pay them to keep it there.
Where is this?
This is in Europe.
Okay, we were just talking about that in Switzerland.
What Switzerland did, they have negative interest rates too, but they just got off the peg from the dollar, from the euro, because they're going to have quantitative easing this week, which means they're going to pump more cheap dough into the system, and the Swiss franc was pegged to the euro.
Gerald, I have a question, because we just had another guy on within the last hour. We were talking about similar things, quantitative easing. He said, "Well, it worked. Did it work? Is it working?"
It did. He's full of baloney. The facts are there. The only people that are rich, as I said, are the big guys.
Okay. Because I wasn't going to get into a debate. I don't know that much.
The facts are there. Yeah. I'll talk to anybody about it. We've been writing about it. It's in detail. The numbers don't lie. The liars lie. The middle class is shrunk in this country. People are dead over their heads.
Now, Gerald, the TrendsJournal. How long ago did you guys write about about this sort of thing? That you guys write history before it happens, right?
We wrote the words, "This is no recovery; it's a cover-up," in 2009.
Okay.
All of this quantitative easing, as I said, has only enriched the equity markets for the reasons I gave you.
Right.
Banks are loaning to their buddies the Fed's loaning to banks at nothing rates. Okay. The mergers and acquisitions and the stock buybacks are over half the market growth. So no, it hasn't worked.
Okay.
I have a weird, long kind of question, and it makes sense at the end here. So we're saying, in the United States, we need to start buying and producing our own stuff here. We need to stop buying from China. So now you're saying China's in trouble. If we put more of a tariff or tax on what they can't import to this country, do we put them in the same position that Russia's in right now without being able to sell their oil? Will we just bury them? Is that why we don't want to bury China? Because we shouldn't be buying all this stuff for nothing from China.
100%. Look, if people want to make this country great again, put back the rules and regulations that Slick Willie Clinton and Bush and the rest of them killed. By the way, when China joined the World Trade Organization? Nobody does. It was 2 weeks after 9/11 nobody was paying attention. I want to see a self-sustaining economy. We have 320 million people. You think we can make our own shirts and shoes and computers?
I'm just happy you said shirts because I thought you were saying something else.
So we should have a self-sustaining economy. By the way, that's what Russia's going to be doing now. They're saying, the hell with you guys, we're going to do our own. And so that's what we need to do. And by the way, on May 2nd, over here in Colonial Kingston, New York, at the most historic Four Corners, the only place where there's a pre-Revolutionary War stone building on each corner, we have permission to close down the streets. And we're launching Occupy Peace. The website's occupypeace.us. And it's based on the principles of the Founding Fathers, beginning with Washington, a real warrior, a real commander-in-chief, a guy that led the forces and fought, not these guys that play basketball, shoot pool, and drive pickup trucks and play golf. A real founding father, a real warrior, no foreign entanglements. Bring home the troops, seal the borders, and rebuild America. And then and the world was at war back then, if anybody forgot. So what we're doing with Occupy Peace is to rebuild America, make this a self-sustaining economy. So you guys want to attend, you could broadcast from here as well.
Where's this, up in the Bronx?
No, the Bronx. Colonial Kingston.
Oh,
no, I'm originally from the Bronx. We're 2 hours north of New York City.
Okay.
And this is the first capital of New York State. Matter of fact, 90% of the United States Constitution came from the Constitution that was written here, right across the street from me.
Yeah. Can Russia agriculturally sustain itself?
Yep. Russia's on the path now to a self-sustaining economy. Anybody that thinks they're going to beat the Russians is out of their minds. Somebody gave me one of these famous graphs. It's Napoleon's march to Russia, leaving the Polish border. He starts with 422,000 men. He gets to Moscow. You see the line keep thinning back, and then by the time he gets back to the Polish border, he has 10,000 men, and he deserted them. Hitler launched the greatest military offensive in world history.
Hitler should have went that way first. I've been watching a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, you're not going to defeat the Russians.
No.
You know, you leave them alone. They're a different cat. You know, and again, the propaganda with the Ukraine war, anybody could do it. All they could do is Google in the name Nuland, N-U-L-A-N-D, Victoria Nuland, the wife of Robert Kagan, by the way, the madman who's this neocon. It's one of those guys that are pushing for all of this hegemony. She's the Assistant Secretary of State, December 13th, 2013, National Press Club. There she is, our Assistant Secretary of State, over one shoulder Chevron, the other shoulder ExxonMobil, telling the crowd that the future of Ukraine is European, Ukrainians are European, and they should follow the path set forth by the IMF. This is our Secretary of State 3 months before the overthrow of Yanukovych's government. Oh, by the way, Hunter Biden, your boy down there, Joe Biden's son,
right,
appointed to the board of Burisma Energy, the largest energy company in Ukraine. Oh, along with Secretary of State John Kerry's son, Christopher Hines, his business partner, Devon Archer. He, too, was appointed to Burisma Energy in Ukraine.
Ukraine,
Gerald, you're always so damn passionate and so entertaining and so full of great information. TrendsJournal, where people can get this, you get a copy of this.
TrendsJournal, TrendsJournal.com, and also they could get our 5.5-hour conference where we launched the top trends of 2015, so they could have those as well. And by the way, what we're seeing now with this oil, these are price wars, and you're not only seeing it in commodities, you're seeing it in stores, 70% off. This used to happen, never happened when I was growing up. It was 50% off after the holidays, and it was only the junk left over. So there's too much product and not enough money to buy it.
I'm not going to argue. I listen. I listen to you, and then I have to go look it up. But he's always first. You know, it's the TrendsJournal is history before it happens. That's what it is. That's what these guys do. What's your track record for these things?
Well, you hit them and miss them, but it stands by itself. I mean, it's Wall Street Journal. I forecast the 1987 stock market crash, the Asian currency crisis.
Hold on.
I took out the domain name. I took out the domain name, the Panic of '08, in 2007. That's how sure I was. We wrote it in detail what would happen.
No. When you said you predicted the '87 stock market crash, what did you base that on?
One of the things that's happening now: crashing oil prices.
Okay.
Low demand. It was a pumped up market.
Okay. Well, I totally think there's a pumped up market. There's no reason we should be at this level.
The facts are there again.
Yeah.
The companies are buying back their stock because they're borrowing money for nothing.
Right.
And the mergers and acquisition activity is back to 2007 levels. And when we're talking about a self-sustaining economy, by the way, they used to have laws in place, the Robinson-Patman Act, Sherman Antitrust Act, Clayton Antitrust Act, that made it a level playing field so the multinationals wouldn't own everything and we could have entrepreneurs in this country. It used to be the land of opportunity, the envy of the world. But the Republicans and Democrats sold us out. Oh, you want a trend? This is another way I made my name. I had forecast in my book Trend Tracking back in the late 80s there'd be a new third party in 92. The time now is for a third party, and we believe we're going to see one emerge because I don't know of anybody other than, the people that are them that's excited about having another Clinton or another Bush. So I would say that we are forecasting the emergence of a new third party to challenge the Bloods and the Crips. And I don't say Bloods and the Crips sarcastically. They're murderers and thieves. How many more people do they have to murder in foreign countries and in the name of freedom and democracy, and how much more of our money do they have to steal in names of too big to fails, tax breaks, and loans guarantees for their buddies.
I love this guy. Yeah. Gerald, thank you for your time, as always. And
Thanks for having me on, guys.
TrendsJournal.com, if you want to find out more information, I highly recommend you subscribe and get a copy of it. Have it on your desk all the time. It's great. Thank you, Gerald.